let's get started. First, we need to define, what does victim mean? What is a victim? And again, as you're watching this, if you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable with this concept, or you might even feel a little triggered right now, don't worry. I understand. When I was presented with this, I put a big old brick wall up. But please take a breath, settle in, and see if you can see yourself in this. Be open to it, because again, this is how we heal. And so victim is my life is determined by my life's circumstances, not me. And so let me give you a few examples from my own life of how I believe that my life was determined by my life circumstances. And then we're going to talk about how this creates the emotional overwhelm that creates our illnesses. So here's just a few circumstances I went through that I blamed as a victim. One, I talked about this the other week. My dad died when I was 15. And so again, that caused me to feel like that circumstance, not having a dad, I felt like I grew up in a single parent home. I didn't have the same opportunities or anyone to guide me in my life. I felt very much in grief and that I didn't belong with the other kids my age. Another circumstance that I had as a victim was moving. I grew up in a small town in eastern Colorado, Yuma, Colorado, and I moved to the city of Denver when I was 7. And that move was another circumstance that I believed created this challenging experience of a life that I had. I think that my life would have been so much easier if I would have stayed in the small town where my family was and I knew everyone. My parents not having a healthy relationship. They struggled in their relationship. They did not get along. And I felt that caused me as an adult and as a young adult to also struggle my relationships, not having healthy role models. And two, as I'm sharing this, think about yourself. What are those circumstances that you believe created the outcomes, the negative outcomes of your life? And so what these are, these circumstances in our life as a victim, we believe that these hold us back, that these circumstances that we've gone through, these are the handicaps in our life that create an experience that, again, it's almost like an excuse. And also it's an I can't. Anytime there was something in my life that didn't happen the way I wanted it to, or my experience wasn't what I want it to be, well, I'd always go back to these circumstances as the reason why. I always had some kind of a excuse, something to point the finger at because of these circumstances, what I had gone through, what I had said I had been through in my life. And here's the thing, we all do this. We all have our own little book with those circumstances, like a highlight reel is what I'll call it, that we go to time and time and time again to explain why we aren't the way that we think we should be, or our life isn't the life that we think that we have that we don't want. So here's what we need to talk about. Victim, the perspective of victim is what creates the very emotional experience that creates our illnesses. This is where I'm going to introduce the idea of a red pill, that we have to be red pilled. And this is what I needed. Again, I came here after probably about 15 years and over $100,000 spent trying all kinds of practitioners and alternative and Western techniques. Nothing was working. I needed this perspective shift. I needed to take this red pill. And it's this, that all those circumstances that we've gone through, that as victims we feel like have created the negative experience of our life and our health, actually that all those experiences we've gone through are actually normal experiences. They are normal human experiences. That's right. That's the red pill. That everything that we've gone through in our life as women and as humans, these are normal human experiences. They are not unique to us. They're truly not special to us. If you were to take a group of 100 people and circle them up and ask them about the circumstances and the challenges they'd been through in their life, I guarantee you, you are going to find almost the exact same scenarios. You're going to find parents that fought. You're going to find losing a loved one. You're going to find financial challenges. You're going to find moving. You're going to find pregnancy. You're going to find heartbreak. You are going to find retirement. You're, losing loved ones, losing grandparents, losing pets. You're going to find immense challenges, but these are the things that we go through as humans. We all go through them. That's the awakening. This is the red pill that we need. This is what had to shake me out of my cognitive dissonance. You might even call it a matrix, for me to be able to wake up and realize, Josie, you are not special. I'm not special. And a couple on the list too. I thought my dad dying and the substance abuse in my house, I really use those to feel unique and different and as my excuse in life. And hey, after meeting so many women, so many people out there, so many of us go through these experiences. It's not unique to us. And this is the concept called the reality of life. The reality of life. That life is full of challenges and a lot of the same challenges. And that's just the way life is. That it's not bad. It's not wrong. It's not that it doesn't mean that it's not hard for us, emotionally challenging, but these are what happens in a human lifespan. So from this perspective, we can look at our lives in a whole new way. We can realize that it isn't about being a victim to what's happened to us in our life. It's not about the circumstances, because these circumstances in some variation happen to all of us. What we really want to do is we want to flip the script and realize, okay, how can I approach this differently? So for me as a woman, instead of that list that I shared, we all could write a book, right, of all the circumstances that we think is the reason for why we've ended up the way we have. Instead of feeling powerless to these experiences and feeling handicapped by them, I realize that these are normal human life experiences. There's a word for this. It's called normalization. It's a healthy thing that we need to do to heal. Instead, I can normalize it and I can realize, oh, if these are just going to happen anyway, instead of fighting against it, or feeling a victim to it, how about I re-empower myself and realize that it's how I respond to the circumstances that have happened to me in my life. That's what determines the life I have and my emotional experience. This is the key here. So I'm going to say it again. We have to realize as women that it's actually how we choose to respond and that we have a choice that we never knew we had. It's how we respond to the circumstances that happen to us and have happened to us in our life. That's what determines our life. That's what determines our emotional experience. From this awakening and this awareness that we have a choice in the response, that we can't control the circumstances that happen in life. This is just life. That's the reality of life. But we do have agency and control in how we choose to respond. Suddenly, we take our power back. Suddenly, we become back in the driver's seat of our life and our emotional state. This is the key. We no longer, from this perspective, again, feel out of control in our life. And what happens when I no longer feel out of control of my life and my emotional experience? Well, it's like that big old balloon that lives inside all of us, especially as women, of emotional overwhelm. The air just comes right on out of it. Just like that. All of that emotional build and that emotional overwhelm and that white knuckling fear and panic of life and that facade that we've created trying to suppress all of it so no one out there can know or see how we really feel on the inside. It all resolves naturally. There's again like air at a balloon. It resolves, it goes away. Simply by realizing I can't control the circumstances, I can control my response. What happens in my life and has happened and will happen is simply a part of life.